Hi everyone, welcome to the Digital Fifth Fintech Show. Today we have with us Angaj Bhandari, who's the Managing Director of India and South Asia for FIME. FIME specifically is a very sort of niche company, niche organization, which is primarily focused on standardization and certification testing for financial services and few more segments. For us, obviously, financial services is very, very critical. And they've already been there for years, and they have done a lot of work with banks and a lot of networks as well around EMP and others. But what they're of late getting into and helping the ecosystem is around standardization and certification of APIs. Now, banking APIs have been largely entity to entity different, and therefore it adds a lot of overheads for fintechs and others to integrate with each other. So what they are trying to solve, they are trying to bring the standardization and also API certification framework to it, which is net new, completely new segment for India. So thanks, Angaj, for joining us.
Thanks for having me here on this discussion regarding open banking API, the plans in India, and more importantly, the standardization, testing, and compliance framework. So looking forward to this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. So before we go further into it, I think it's useful for our audience to know what is FIME all about? What are you guys doing in India? So a bit of background of the work around certification, all which you're working on, will be useful for our audience.
So if I put it simply, FIME basically enables its clients for secure and reliable solutions. We are a trusted partner with our customers. Now, mainly what we do is we help them execute testing and certification based on the various standards. You know that, I mean, the payments industry, or for that matter, any other industry, where standards are defined, FIME basically will work on those standards to develop the test strategy. Now, while we are doing this test strategy, a lot of consulting work which is required for the clients. So essentially, FIME starts the journey with its customers at a defined stage where we start defining their requirements to launch their solution. Then we get into a design phase. We help them develop, strategize, and then finally we test their solutions. So again, just to name a few interesting areas, globally we work with the EMVCo. So we are a certification lab for EMVCo. We are a certification lab or testing partner with most of the card networks. RuPay in India. We work with almost all terminal vendors, all card vendors for their EMVCo related certification space. In recent times, we've been accredited by EMVCo for 3DS. So now FIME has a cloud-based platform which will allow 3DS solution providers to test their 3DS modules like ACS or SDK or 3DSS. Yeah, we have this, and then we have basically the lab services for NXP Forum, even for FIDO, which is FIDO accreditation is based on the biometric certification.
Okay.
So that's the work we do globally. We operate out of 9 locations where we have our offices, and then we are present in 19 locations through our offices and our alliances. In India, we are headquartered in Bangalore. And yeah, we work with almost everyone in the Indian financial services space.
Excellent. So I think from an India perspective, obviously the whole payment wave is definitely moved on, and a lot of activities already happened with the UPI being there. There's a lot of standardization generically. Now, India is actually moving more on the open banking side. We are seeing a lot of neobanks coming up. There's also opportunity like token or account aggregator and PCR and stuff like that. So there's a lot of action on the overall ecosystem side. So what are your opinion on open banking in Indian context, and what are the new business model you believe, based on your experience outside India, which can be brought into India?
That's a very interesting, I would say, the trend which market is moving towards. I'll maybe go into a little bit of background. So we have been involved in this space, through our European counterparts where we worked on the PSD2, the compliance framework. So PSD2, you know that in Europe it evolved. Basically, it was to standardize the payment space in what they created is called something called SEPA, Single European Payment Area. And initially, the PST directive, defined, the credit or the basic, the payment functionalities. Then the PSD2 directive, which came because we were seeing more and more digitalization in the payments area. It was to include new players and make data available for everyone. The basic thought process, APIs we see in our day-to-day life, everything we do through API. The basic thought process behind open banking API is that in the erstwhile scenario or the earlier scenario, you have the customer related information available only to a few institutions. That we have seen in India also, in the European market also, that it is either available with banks or the insurance companies, all those entities which are regulated. Now we see that more and more use case for a different set of customer is required. All of us know and agree that not all the customers can be served through these institutions which have been existing for many years. We are seeing new use cases. In fact, in Indian scenario, we are seeing that some of the, like you mentioned about Open, in India, I think out of 63 million SMEs, only 10 to 11% they have the access to formal credit. So the thought process here is that why not make this data available through a secured, a mutualized channel, so that there are different players who can come on board and they can provide various use case and services. That's the overall thought process. And I see this, in India, the use case of UPI. UPI has been existing now for a few years. Recently, we've heard that UPI is touching almost 1.8 billion transactions a month. That's the best example of API based, on the open API based transaction in India. And now in Indian scenario, I will categorize it in two segments. One, there are banks who think and who feel that they should, beyond the conventional way of banking and working, they should open their APIs, they should expose, create various use cases. I think that's a really good win-win model for India, where large banks like ICICI, HDFC, Axis, RBL, Kotak, Yes Bank, they are creating API stack and they are exposing it for the developer world or the fintech world to develop and give the use cases. All these fintechs who are working on this, they are creating interesting use cases. Maybe if it's a short-term lending or a small loan or a consumer loan on the fly, all those products which are available. That's one use case which is fueling the ecosystem. The second one is, I think, all the initiative which were driven through DAPA. So we had data empowerment and protection architecture for India, which basically then further defines the account aggregator, the OCAN. We have a health stack here, which when we go through it, is creating a very interesting use case for India, where you have like account aggregator, which is playing a consent manager's role. On one side, you have all the regulated entities. I think it is all the entities which are governed by RBI or IRDAI or PFRDA and SEBI. Other side, in account aggregator, you also have the use cases. You have the account aggregators, which are again further given licenses by RBI. And then they are creating, of course, the interesting use case for the end consumer. I feel that the account aggregator model is phenomenal, and the need of what we need as a next digital jump in India, which will create more and more use case. So you will have companies who are providing flow-based credit, the wealth products, the insurance product, all of these products. Similarly, in Oken also, Oken will probably utilize the account aggregator as a base, and then they are here to provide the flow-based credit, which we are seeing, which is missing in India today. MSME or a small vendor doesn't have the access to formal credit. So I think this overall open API framework in India will open a lot of opportunities and businesses around it. And what I feel that's going to be the way forward. A collaboration between institutions who have the financial data and the institutions which can provide different use cases.
So I come from a background, or maybe from times where we were always doing front-end testing and all of that. I'm thinking about almost 20 years back, when I was actually doing some work in maybe Kotak or City, and we were testing from front end. Now with APIs coming in and doing those days as well, it was not easy to test, right? Figuring out the scenarios. Now, a scenario where there are multiple APIs happening and or rather are being there. How do you ensure that all the testing is properly done? We've also had cases of fraud. We've also had cases where transaction was processed without debiting the customer. And then the lending cases will be even more complicated, right? So I think the standardization and certification is a big issue, and specifically on the open banking. So, I mean, share us your perspective on what are the sort of challenges, risk ahead if we don't sort it out and ensure that certification and standardization is properly taken care of.
Yeah, again, very interesting thought, Samir here. So, see, we know, and you've been in industry for a long time, we know that standardization is actually key for any such industry to success, to become successful. Like from our conventional experience, we see that EMVCo world is completely standardized. You have category of certification, level 1, level 2, level 3. Each has its own standard specifications, and based on that, the standard test plan, tools, everything is designed. It gives a overall, I would say, a security and stability to the ecosystem. Whenever you have a standardization, you have a legal framework around it. You will have more participation. System is more open for everybody to participate. The participation becomes easier in standardization. Whenever we see a lack of standardization, it basically hinders the growth of that particular ecosystem. And in fact, I'll go back to again the PSD2 example, where there is a standardization and there is a mandate for the entities who have the financial information to expose API and to provide to share the customer data based on the consent and based on the strong customer authentication. So you have a consent and you have the customer authentication. These are the two, prime goals there. Similarly, in India, now we are moving towards standardization. So you see all these framework, which is like Sehmati, Oken, Health Stack. All of these have the standard set of APIs. We will have all the people who are coming on board, they will follow a standard protocol in terms of getting an empaneled and onboarded and follow a certification guideline. Now, what happens that when you have a standardization across industry, it becomes very easy to create a certification body setup. You know that everybody who is coming on board is going to follow one set plan to be onboarded. So based on the specification, you have test plan and test cases defined. You have all the functional test cases defined, and we know that everybody has to go through those set of functional test cases.
Correct.
So that becomes standard, and it makes everybody's participation very easier. It overall is good for the industry because it flourishes. The second set of thing is the security. The concern around the security. So security test cases, what you can say. Now, again, on security side, there could be, in Indian scenario, we could have, framework which can be picked up from India. Or otherwise, there are global, what we call OWASP, which is Open Web Application Security Protocol, which basically tries and define top 10 security vulnerabilities related to injection and broken authentication, etc. And it covers all of this, which is again a standardized requirement. Now, all of this, if we try and put it in a form of a tool, uh, it becomes easier for every industry participant to follow the standard test cases, plan, and come on board. Now, FIM as a what we call that, we've been working in this space for a long time, and that's the philosophy we follow. That uh, creating a standard, then based on the standard, creating the test environment, certification body setup, compliance framework.
Mhm.
And this is what we envisage and we are trying to do in this area for the open banking API space.
So what exactly is your offering which is helping, which can help end to end? For example, let's say I'm a bank or I'm an NBFC or maybe I'm an account aggregator.
Yeah,
How would you help us in ensuring that my partnership with the ecosystem is stronger, easier, faster? So how
yeah.
exactly they can look at you?
Today, what we have a platform called TrustAPI Plus. It's a cloud-based platform, and today this platform has the capability based on the PSD2 standards. So we've created basically test cases, and these libraries are for a couple of European standards. So we have STET as a library included. STET is a major, one of the major French clearing house, uh, and based on their specifications, which are again following the PSD2 standards, we have created test libraries through which when they want to onboard, when they want to onboard the banks, it becomes easier for banks to test through those test libraries and come on board. Similarly, we've done the same work for Berlin Group and Open Banking UK. So for all of these, I would say all of these standards, we have created test libraries in our platform. And similar thing we are trying to do it in India, where in India we may have requirements specific to a bank. So a bank may have, let's say, a set of 50 APIs which they are exposing. Now you have API gateways. What our role will come when, based on these API specification, based on bank's requirement, we can create test cases, test plan, both on functional and security side, and then embed this library in the tool. So that library is available in the tool. Now, when we do it for the banks, a lot of time, once you create, let's say for one bank, a lot of time, this can serve as a standard library. Other players can utilize it as it is, or maybe if it's specific to bank, it can remain specific to bank. Now, when it comes to your standard stack here, which is like Semati, Oken, uh, or maybe the other similar initiatives which will come in this area, they're again based on their specification. uh, we can create test plan, test library, and it can go it can go as a standard library in the tool. And then this is available for everyone, in the ecosystem to basically test and come on board. So here, what will happen based on the requirement? Let's say if we take the example of Oken, they have LSPs and lenders, and for these guys to come on board, the testing is required on both the sides. So we can have the test cases for both sides and be part of the tool. That way, the testing can be entirely automated based on the functional specification and based on the security requirement. So the overall process of when you are when you are starting to develop the API till the time you have to come on board with these standards, that process becomes really easy and fast.
So, how do we look at it? How do we measure the efficiencies? Or do you think that when we, let's say, do this kind of maybe a security testing as well as functional testing
Yeah.
automated, Do you think that typical process of taking, maybe normally it takes 30 days, 20 days to go live? You say the speed of action will come down, overall cost will also come down, and maybe we'll be far more effective. Is that where it will go, or it will be like, "Arey yaar, use nahi ho pa raha, samajh nahi aa raha"? Do you think that it'll go there? So what's your take? How do we make it practical?
And that's what I said, that when it becomes standardized, idea is to bring down the go-to-market time. Idea is to bring down the cost. Okay, today the way things are standardized in EMV core. So today, if somebody wants to test, let's say a level 3 testing, which is on the business application side, they buy a standard tool with the specific libraries of a scheme for the card scheme they are launching. Okay, and then they execute the test cases. Similar way, are when there is a tool available with standard set of APIs, the path for a developer is very clear. That okay, he has to take this specific access, he has to use this library and execute the test cases, functional and security. And the more we start using it, more we standardize this, more we make it available, the more it becomes easier for the industry. Today, when I talk to the players in this, I mean, and that's my personal thought, that everybody is sort of working in one or the different way. So either people have developed their own testing requirement, they have their own testing teams, or they are trying to get it done from multiple sources in the market. Uh, what I feel that the testing, compliance, and certification should be a very important requirement here, which is not very well addressed in today's scenario. And that's where I think I want to put a focus that overall we want to standardize this, we want to streamline this, make it available, very quickly. And of course, then we keep improvising and we keep maintaining those libraries as and when the specification improves or changes.
No, I
So
think
yeah,
absolutely. I think we've not seen this kind of sort of model coming up in India as of now. So I think your entry will definitely help a lot in the ecosystem side. But how reachable is FIM in this case, right? When any foreign company comes, we start thinking that it's difficult to access. Development will happen outside. So how are you planning to support Indian requirements as such?
that's been the question in India always, and especially when we are talking about Make in India. So, so FIM is as Indian as any other company. We've been FIM India started in India in 2003. So we've been here now for almost 17 years. We're working with NPCI on RuPay certification for more than 6 years now. And FIM India has a R&D center. So for FIM globally, after France, we have a R&D center in India. And, we are gearing up here, through our local team, the India R&D Center. So today the team is self-sustained. We have all the knowledge, all the know-how available in India to basically fully support this testing and certification requirement for open banking APIs in India.
Okay, fantastic. And anything else which you want to guide to our audience on API side, or anything else which your thought?
So, I mean, my message here will be, and that's again personally, I think that it's going to be the way forward. I'm really amazed and happy to see the initiatives like Sehmati, Open, Health Stack, where we're trying to standardize a lot of things. The only advice I would like to give is that let's not take a shortcut here. All of us know that while the beauty of the solution or the use case is visible, but when it comes to fraud, when it comes to functional challenges, when it comes to security challenges, that's where I think we would like to play a role, and I would insist that everybody should take test and compliance framework or a certification body setup seriously and go through this to make sure that they have robust APIs and they've gone through a good round of compliance before launching it for end consumer.
No, I agree. If you don't do it, रात को नींद नहीं आएगी, right? I think that's how I put
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I see this worry when I talk to the industry people, and that's what we are trying to address in the Indian market.
Thanks, Angaj, for sharing all the insights. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir. Thanks.